Hello, today's video is on combining SAS datasets. I'm going to talk about a few things: one-on-one merging, concatenating, appending, interweaving, and match merging. The caveat: this is just an overview. There's a lot to combining SAS datasets, so I'll have to cover more in a later video. Be sure to comment and let me know what you think, because I will be making future videos soon. And let's go ahead and get started with one-to-one merging. So here I have two data sets that are basically taken from the data sets that I ran on the last video. If I run these two data sets, then they will go into the work library. Now let's examine these data sets to make sure we understand them. The first one, you have the name, age, and the first weight that was taken, and this happens to be in kilograms. In the second one, you have name, age, weight 2, weight 3, weight 4, weight 5, and we're going to combine these two to make a full data set that has the name, age, and all the weights. Notice the bottom one does not have the name Kaylee, or does not have the name Kyle in it. I took Kyle out, and it's here in the comment below. And we're going to see what happens when we merge these two files using the one-to-one merge. And the way you do a one-to-one merge, you can create a new data set with whatever name you want, and you're going to have two set statements. The first set statement, I have fit class 1. The second statement, I have fit class 2. That means SAS is going to read fit class 1 first, and then on that same observation, that same line, read fit class 2. And it actually overwrites anything that's already written from fit class 1 with fit class 2. So when it writes Betsy for the first time, it writes it because of the first set statement. And then the second set statement, it actually overwrites Betsy, which means you have to be careful on how you set these up, or you could wind up with a logical error. So if I hit F8 and I run this program, then I get the dataset test. Now let me do a proc print and I'm going to give this a title. I'm just going to call it test, so we know which data set we're talking about. So this line is just a title line. It puts the title when you print to the output window. Let me zoom in so you can see it. Here is the dataset test. Now notice it has 5 observations. It's missing one. If we look back at fit class 1 and fit class 2, Kyle is missing. So lesson in that is that one-to-one merge dataset is going to be as big as the smallest dataset you have. So I'd have to take Kyle and put it into the dataset fit class 2 to properly merge and not lose this information on fit class 1. Kyle is 33 and his first weight was 70.3. So now if I replace that dataset and do a second proc print, I actually have to run the test dataset too. Then now I have my 6th observation with Kyle in it and all the weights. Next, I want to talk about concatenating datasets. So concatenating is you append one dataset to the bottom of another, but you're actually creating a new dataset. So if you notice, we got dataset A and the ID variable and dataset B here. Now I'm going to make all these variables the same. So we have the same variables in each dataset. ID variable 2 and variable 3 in both dataset A and B. And I'm going to run a data step and call it C, and I'm going to set A and B on the same line. Now when I run this, it's going to read the data from A and then move to the next line and read the next line in A. It's going to do all 4 lines, and then it's going to start reading the data in B. And so this will be the top part of dataset C, and this will be the bottom part. And we'll copy and paste this print statement and call it just C. So we're going to print the dataset C. Like I said, if you look back in the video, or I might put it up on split screen, you can see that the dataset A is on top, the dataset B is on the bottom of this new dataset C. Now what would happen if I change this back to variable 4 and then I ran the same thing over? I'm going to run the data step that created C again, and it's going to override it, and this time you're going to have a variable 4. When I run that, we have variable 4 out here, and these are the 3 observations that came from dataset B, or 5, 6, and 7. And you'll notice they have a missing spot for variable 3. And then the dataset A, all the variables that came from dataset B, or the observations that came from dataset A, are blank for variable 4. Let me also concatenate the 2 datasets we did before, and I'll put them up on split screen so you can see them. Excuse me while I cut ahead. I'm going to run this dataset more, and if you notice, the dataset more is arranged like the first 2 datasets we looked at, and the dataset test, which I'll flash on the screen now. And I'm going to add this to the bottom of the test to do the same thing, concatenate. So the way I do that is I'm going to take the dataset, or the data step I'm going to use test, and I'm going to rewrite over it using the previous dataset test and more, which will add more to the bottom. And now that I've done that, I'm going to print more. So let me put it below. That's a little more logical. So this is the dataset more. It added Tom to the bottom. And you notice Tom does not have a weight 2, so he has a missing value for weight 2. Next, I'm going to talk about using the append procedure.